Hey fellow traveling apprentices, Rhadamant here. Thank you for tuning in to Wartales, Episode 2, New Adventure. So let's go ahead and fulfill some of these contracts. There are 2 contracts to the east and 1 closer to the west. So I'm going to head to the western one, because it will be a little bit quicker to get there. So I'm going to orient my camera facing west to figure out where west is. Oh, you know what? I'm going to detour real quick. I just found that old man thief hiding out in the woods.
I can polish your armor for... You? How did you find me?
I'm going to threaten him.
Please don't hurt me.
Alright. But that's it. I'm not going to kill him over some petty theft. Oh, we are getting ambushed. Good. 2 hoodlums and a poacher. Bring it. Alright, let's take a look. So we've got the first person that takes a turn will be the hoodlum. If I can have the hoodlum have to run to me, that would be ideal. Meaning that the first turn I take might be useful as Jazz shooting this hoodlum, which is in range of this shot, knocking this hoodlum back, making it so that it can't reach me as soon. And then after that, the poacher takes a turn, and I'm going to want to close the distance between me and the poacher with shield so the poacher can't shoot me. So I like it. Yeah, okay. Opening Vowel. Boom. Broke his armor, knocked him back. And the hoodlum couldn't reach me, which was by design. My next turn is going to be shield, making sure that this poacher doesn't get to shoot me. What is the max party? Oh boy, I don't even know. Like, probably 20 or something? I'm not sure, but it's quite a lot. So now this poacher is engaged and can't do anything but punch me, which is pretty ineffective. Let's go ahead and focus on this hoodlum. So I'm gonna put myself here because I can wide swing and not hit Jazz, which is ideal. And then it engages this poacher, so this poacher can't melee my archer. And then Die's turn. And let's see. I'm gonna have Die stab this guy here, and then probably disengage to move to the next hoodlum. And then this hoodlum's going to come attack shield. Alright, new round. So they are first taking a turn with this hoodlum here. But I have a turn before that, so maybe... I will galvanize if I kill one. So I'm trying to figure out if I can't galvanize sooner or later. I think what I'll do... When does this poacher take its turn? Pretty late. So I'm going to try to kill this poacher so that we can galvanize. Ooh, critical hit. This poacher stabs me, and shield just unlocked. Shield Connoisseur. Oh, great. That was perfect. Gaining additional guard when holding a shield. So the next turn is the poacher that's going to punch me. That's not much of a threat. So I'm going to kill this hoodlum. We are now galvanized. So galvanization gives us 50% bonus damage. And then I'm going to have Jazz here get in position to help shield out. The poacher punches me. It was not very effective. And then Die is going to come and start stabby. With all that bonus damage. And then I'm going to move and engage the hoodlum next. Because I don't want to stand between Jazz and a target after this turn, right? Then it's finally Shield's turn. Shield kills the enemy poacher outright, and we have a chance to let them flee or not. So this quick pull here is going to apply to all of the engagements for a while, whether or not we allow them to flee. So allowing them to flee is maybe the most, how should I say, kind thing to do, but it does leave experience on the table, but it also will help us. So there are path progression for killing enemies and also path progression for allowing them to flee. So I'll leave it up to you guys. But it looks like no. Alright. I took a flash poll. No's won by a long shot, so no. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to move Shield here, right behind the Hoodlum, so the Hoodlum has to pick a target. Shield's taken poison damage, but that shouldn't be a problem soon. So if I wanted to heal Shield, actually, that might be good for me to do. When's the Hoodlum? Hoodlum takes a turn like last. So I'm going to run up next to Shield. Oh, you know what? I have that right now. Alright, so I'm going to run behind. Sorry, I lied. Stab this Hoodlum. I'm just going to finish off this fight. Killing blow? Yes. Oh, done. Fight's over. End of the fight, we have an Outlaw's Tabard, some cloth, some crowns. Shield's armor needs repair. Die and Shield both leveled. Well, Shield had already leveled up, but Die leveled up as well. Time does not pass when you're in the camp screen, so if you're trying to make decisions with gear and everything, it's useful to camp. You only pass time when you right-click on the campfire to actually do the rest. So I can organize my troops in the camp screen without time passing, which means that people don't need food or wages or anything. It's useful to, like, put a pause on that. So we have a light armor tabard here, which is going to be better than the rags that Shield is wearing. So if you mouse over it, as you can see, the armor's the same, but well, actually, yeah, so the tabard does not hinder movement. So the movement for Shield has will be 12 rather than 10. So movement goes up, which is kind of nice. And then these rags might be better for someone else. So it's the Cathanon benefits from the Angler rags. And then the farmer rags that Die and Jazz have are terrible and will be fixed at some point. So Die, let's level you up. So, Die has a chance to one of 3 different abilities or specializations. So I'll let you guys pick. I have a personal preference, but I don't want to reveal it at this point. But also Die, being a ranger, has the chance to get a double upgrade of Dex. So I'm going to do that from Dex 9 to a Dex 11. And then we can pick what ability for Die. So the first one is Valorous Audacity. So every time this unit ends their turn next to an enemy and is not engaged in combat, I gain a Valor point. The next one is Victory. Every time this unit kills an enemy, I gain a Valor point. And the last one is Support. Every time this unit ends their turn next to an ally and is not engaged in combat, I gain a Valor point. So this one is like, to put them in perspective, this one is like if I'm backstabbing something that is already engaged with someone else. This one is if I get the kill, and this one is if I'm standing next to an ally and I'm not currently engaged. So I'll have you guys decide how to get my Valor points. Just a quick little vote here. And what you're hoping to do in the longer run is build up synergy between your team. So I'll give you a for instance, and I know that this is slightly encouraging you to vote. Let's say I had 2 archers, and both of the archers had Valor support. Every time this unit ends their turn next to an ally and is not engaged in combat, I gain Valor point. So if I have 2 archers standing next to one another, them being standing next to one another is going to give me 2 Valor points per round, because generally speaking, our archers are not engaged in melee. So they're giving Valor points back and forth to one another, allowing everybody else to use Valor points more willy-nilly. So there's a lot of synergy between picking these Valor methods, these victory point gain methods that play off of one another. So for instance, in Diamond's case, depending on the weapon you use, sometimes you can't be next to teammates. So for instance, the Rangers here, the Ranger class, depending on the types that they specialize in, like let's say they specialize where they have a dagger that AoE poisons everyone around them. If it's a dagger that AoE poisons everyone around them, you probably don't want that individual standing next to teammates because they're going to constantly stab their teammates with poison. So you just got to be careful about this kind of stuff. So you guys want victory. Done. Victory by small margin. So Diamond killing people is ideal. Got it. The other thing that we could do is set up a profession. So, I am probably going to change Jazz's profession from... No, actually, I'm going to have Dai maybe be our Tinkerer. So the Tinkerer allows you to craft camp stuff and gear. And then as a result of that, gains 2% crit hit. And there's no real good reason to have someone without a profession. So, like, I could also just give Shield a profession, knowing that I could switch it, just for the bonus XP. Because everyone having a profession at all times is good. What choice would I have made? It really depends on... for Dai specifically, it really depends on what type of person he will become for gear. So, for instance... I would say Valorous Victory works pretty well with Cutthroat. Because Cutthroat allows you to spend Valor points to, like, murder people quickly. Strategist is really nice because you can throw smoke screen bombs, and then any enemies that are engaged will then suffer attacks of opportunity from the person they're engaged with. But that's really bad for Valorous Victory because that allows my teammates to get extra hits. But Valorous Victory requires you to get the killing blow. So it's only really useful if the smoke screen injures them to a critical point where then Diamond can, finish them off. So there could be synergy there, but not necessarily. It really depends on how you use it. And then Poisoner is really nice for an AoE poison, but not all enemies are necessarily easy to poison. And then one of the other problems with damage over time, just in general, is... Generally speaking, and especially with this game, with the galvanization for the 50% bonus XP, and then the fact that they'll flee at the end, you want to be killing... You don't want to be spreading your damage out, right? Because if I do 50 damage to 10 people to injure them all half life, or do 50 damage to 5 people to kill 5 people, killing 5 people is a lot better than wounding 10 people, right? So the problem with, like, sometimes, not always true, but sometimes with... AoE attacks that do a little bit of damage to a lot of people is that it doesn't help you win quickly. And it drags fights out, which will have you get wounded, have your armor get damaged, and have people potentially die. So, that's just a thought. Alright. Let's see what this trade caravan has, and then we'll move on.
Might I interest you in my humble wares, my good sirs?
Eel and milk. No thanks, but I will sell you this farmer rag. So, have fun with my rags. So yeah, what I'm going to try to do is play using the sort of synergy that you guys have designed for me. Oh, I'm already going the wrong way. It's like up that way. The targets move, so I might have been heading in the right direction, but my target is on the move. Oh, there they are. So in this case, you can see their vision cone. And then this little symbol is that I have a contract out on them. Bounty. And then as we trek around the forest, we can also gain the ambusher bonus. Meaning that we will catch them off guard and have bonuses at the start of combat. If we can catch up to them and ambush them in this way. which we did. Ambush. Your companions have just ambushed their targets and will fight with an advantage. So it's just a hoodlum and a poacher. That's really easy. All right, so they are surprised. So if you're ever wondering what kind of bonuses they have, leader aggression, because their leader exists, increases their critical hit by 30%, but they're surprised, so they take 10% more damage. So if I kill Quinn Redrell, the deserter, they would lose their leader aggression, but their leader is obviously going to be the hardest one to kill as well. So let's take a quick look at this battlefield. So there's a rusty hatchet here, which can be thrown to deal damage and reduce guard to 0 for 1 round. There's a bear trap over here, where standing on it will hurt, obviously. It's a bear trap. And there's also a rusty hatchet over here as well. So their turn order is that their deserter takes first turn. And I'm trying to think if this deserter... Yeah, so this deserter can't actually catch up to me if I stand here. They can get awfully close, but not all the way. So if I take a look at the deserter here, they could hypothetically gain access to the hatchet. So what I might want to do is have Shield rush the hatchet, throw it at, like, the hoodlum, and then be ready to be approached by the deserter with the idea to kill the hoodlum as quickly as I can with their guard down from the hatchet throw. All right. Well, let's do it. So I'm going to move to the hatchet. Huck it at the hoodlum. They're destabilized. Guard is down. Actually, I got lucky that it didn't destroy all his armor, because then my pound skill will do bonus damage as a result. And I'm going to stand over here. And boom. Nice. Alright. The boss stabs me. I absorbed it. Then the next strike is going to be die, hoping to coup de grace this hoodlum for a valor point. And also, I think, for galvanization. Now, the other question is, can Kath... Kath cannot actually catch the poacher. So... the other thing I might want to consider is to have Die shut down the poacher. But I might be able to stab him and then shut down the poacher anyway. So let's try that. I doubt it will work that way, but... there we go. Temporary Valor Point. Some actions grant temporary Valor Points that must be used before the battle ends, or they will be lost, so they are not saved up to the next round. So standing here doesn't actually engage this poacher. They can still free fire. I'm not actually melee engaged with it, but at least I'm in the right position. So now I have one temporary valor point that I can use. And let's see. I'm going to try to shoot their leader back. Because that gives me an opportunity to get there. And let's weaken them, using that temporary valor point to taunt them for a round, so they do less damage. Poacher's gonna shoot. It broke Dai's armor, but he's okay. Alright. Shield. Let's have you lock down this poacher. And then everyone else is gonna focus on the leader. So now they're poisoned. And Kath still has armor. Granted, not a whole lot of it. And we're getting pretty close to killing the deserter outright. Not quite the way there, but they're going to do a stab. It's an AoE stab, so we're both poisoned. So wrapping up this fight quickly would be ideal for me, unless I want a bandage. And Die getting the kill is going to give me a Valor point. Ooh, brutal death. Bye-bye. And we are now galvanized, and Die actually just got the Glorious trait, which is a chance to generate 1 Valor point at the end of each turn. And going to spend my turn using this Valor point that I just got by making sure Kath does not take more bleeding or poison damage. Alright, let's finish this guy up. Oops, that's not what I meant to do. And done. Fight's over. Your group is overtired. Your companions might die of exhaustion if you keep walking. You should really rest. We gained a nice ringleader dagger. That will be really good for Die. So this is one of those daggers that I was referring to, which is an AoE poison attack. So standing near Die when he does it would be really bad. Jazz leveled up. I'm going to use raw materials to repair all our armor, and I am going to use medicine to... Actually, you know what? I'm not going to heal Die in this case, because I'll probably be going back to town to fulfill that contract. So I've just completed the Vanquish the Quindril Gang, report to the emissary to claim our reward, and that's where I'm going to head to next. But let's go ahead and camp. So at the top here, you can see that our fatigue meter is now all the way down and is blinking, meaning that we need to use the campfire. So in this campfire, I could either have everybody sitting around the campfire. So if I move people around, you can position them. If everyone's sitting in the campfire, I generate 1 extra, for each assigned companion, it's 1 extra happiness. But in this case, if I assign Die to the workshop, this workshop will generate 2 repair materials. So at a cost of lower happiness, I can have free materials, which is kind of nice. And Die has a head injury, so his willpower is reduced by half. So that was the injury that we have. Jazz, let's level you up. Double the dex. And what ability for Jazz? So, it's the same as Die's choices. There's the Audacity, which is if I end their turn next to an enemy and is not engaged, I gain Valor points. Honestly, I'm going to put my thumb on the scale. That's really stupid. You don't want your archers next to an enemy, ever. I have no idea why would you pick that as an archer. You have Valor's Victory. Killing an enemy gains a Valor point. Of course, picking this is in competition with Die, because if both of them need to kill for Valor points, then they're competing with one another, which is maybe not ideal. And then the last one is Support. Being next to an ally and not engaged in combat gives Valor points. And yeah, you guys are going Support. And I figured it's obvious that that is the ideal one. So we'll wrap that up. All right. Also, in the workshop here, I am not able to make tents or hitching posts yet, but it would be very, very good to start saving up for that. So for hitching posts, we need 2 wood and 2 rope. And the bonus here is that ponies assigned to a hitching post gain carry capacity. But I can make rope. So I'm going to make rope for the first time. And that, because I just discovered it, has given us more knowledge points. Likewise, I could make a lockpick for the first time. And a piton. So these allow you to climb down mountains, which are really handy. A fish hook. Not that I particularly care about fishing, but I'm just trying to get the knowledge points. And that's all I can do at the moment. But then with these added knowledge points, I'm going to get career plans. So what career plans does is it allows you to level your companions up more using influence. So I'll show you what that does. So at the moment, shield here. If I wanted shield to get constitution, If I click this, I would only get 1 point of Constitution, because that's just not what is currently being offered in their level ups. So I could get a double hit of critical hit, but let's say I really want them to tank, and I really want them to have Constitution, or Strength in this case. Maybe I go for Strength. If I unlock career plans with my knowledge points, and now go back to shield, I can be like, all right, let's use career plans, and have you get 2 points of Strength instead of 1. It does cost 10 influence, but that is such a bargain. And that's what I'm going to do. Boom. So now shield is leveled up, but gained extra strength as a result because I have career plans. So you can, now that we have a little bit more of the compendium unlocked, you can sort of see more of the types of stuff that we unlock. So here in the workshop, I can make saddlebags. I can make a better workshop so that we can dismantle low-level weapons. I can make a better campfire, which generates extra happiness and allows you to make charcoal, so on and so forth. So we can start working on this, our compendium stuff. And the anvil, with our blacksmith, we can start unlocking... Well, once we make the first, like, targ and rags and stuff, we can start unlocking weapon sets, which are really cool. And same with the apothecary table. So for the knowledge point, what I was originally thinking is, let's see, how to spend the knowledge point. So we could do knowledge. We could do tinkering or workshop. We could do forge or apothecary. So what would I pick with my 1 remaining knowledge point? So for the 1 remaining knowledge point, I might go either rationing or frugality if knowledge gets picked. So rationing allows you to eat less food, and frugality allows you to pay less wages. Run is kind of nice so that you can sprint temporarily, which increases your move speed on the map tile. Feat makers is max valor points. Location markers, if you want to add markers. Smooth talk reduces the cost of companion recruit. Weight training allows you to carry more. Cannibalism allows you to eat and devour corpses. I'm not going to be cannibal. Artful dodgers allows you to avoid suspicion meters. I'm not really planning on committing a lot of crime, so that's not a problem. Alternatively, we could save up. Drinking buddies is an interesting one. Best friends can get drunk together to forget their woes. So it allows best friends to buy a drink for one another to remove a negative trait. At the moment, I don't have any negative traits, but if I do end up with negative traits, that's a pretty good one to save up for. Misanthropic trope is like the opposite and allows you to become a sociopath and insult one another, which the reason why I wouldn't consider doing things like that is for our scenario start, we have a special condition, which is apprentice friends looking for an adventure, inseparable. So the inseparable is form 2 positive relationships within the troop. So obviously I don't want to be misanthropic and insulting one another because that works against our special bonus. All right. So in workshop, if we went with workshop, I would probably unlock the better campfire or probably better campfire so that we can be happier. And anvil, I would save it until I had a better weapon set to unlock, and in apothecary, I would save it for better medicine to unlock. But it looks like you guys want to go with knowledge. So, with knowledge, I am going to choose rationing. So we eat a little bit less food. So now, instead of like 18 food, we're eating 15 food here. Which, unfortunately, with 2 and 4 food, I can't evenly make that. So the way this works is, there's a whole bunch of different like cooking recipes, which we'll eventually get to. But you fill up the amount of food that they require. Any less than the required amount is insufficient and makes them unhappy. And then every 3 times you rest, you have to pay wages. Well, you don't have to pay wages, but it will really upset your people if you don't. And then we just rest. The current danger level for resting where we are on the world is none, so we're not going to get ambushed in our sleep, which is good. And then we just hit rest. Time elapses. And then the report. So we gained 2 Valor points, which are non-temporary. We increased our happiness, so it was at 5, it's now at 8, which also allows our maximum Valor points to be increased from 5 to 6. And then we made 2 raw materials as a result of Diamond working at the workshop. So I'm headed back to Tiltren to hand off this contract. And in the top right here, you can see that we have 183 coin and then 190 in green. The 190 in green is that we have 190 for the contract we fulfilled to be paid out to us once we get back to the emissary. If there was a red number here, that would be money owed in wages. So it just shows you like the incoming and outgoing money. And the reason I've been waiting to recruit someone is I wanted to make sure that I had enough money for wages here.
These valuable commodities are only for those who can afford them.
Well, you sound like a jerk. Alright. Well, they have, an unusual dagger with hysteria, which is deals 68% of the dexterity damage to the target and restarts for every bonus applied to the target. Or padded waistcoat. These are a little bit pricey for me at the moment. I mean, I'd like them. You know what? I'm going to opt to buy the waistcoat. Because we have this better dagger that we got off the boss that I just need to equip. And then I'm going to sell the fish hook to them. But man, she was rude. She was not very friendly. So Die, let's go ahead and give you the better dagger. And I just have to be very careful about where we use Whirlwind so I don't hurt any teammates. And the armor can go to Shield. And then the Shield's armor can go to Kath. Oh, no. Kath can't use light armor. Never mind. So Shield now has a padded waistcoat with extra precision and a little extra armor, which will be nice for protection. And I can actually just sell them the stuff I didn't use.
Peasants. These valuable commodities.
Was her name Bethesda? Oh, it's too late now. Alright, let's go ahead and heal at the apothecary.
My concoctions can heal the most
So I can either
grievous
use the
injuries.
medicine,
Be
which
sure to
costs
hold on
about
to the
39 to
vials
buy,
after
or
using
heal
them.
from her, which costs 20. So that's why I was just like,
There.
I'll heal
I
from
hope you
her.
will be more careful next
It's more
time.
economical. Now that that's done, let's go to the inn and turn in the contract.
Might you be looking for work? Our role as emissary. Here is your reward.
Alright. I'm not going to take the average contracts yet. I'm just not high enough level. So a huge part of this is like the synergy between your mercenary party members and your gear. Gear is a lot in this game. So like a level, I'm just going to make up numbers, but like let's say a level 5 dude using level 1 gear is going to be roughly the same strength as like a level 2 or 3 using a level 2 or 3. So if you have really bad gear, you are nerfed as a result. So making sure that like people are using gear roughly around their own level is pretty important, meaning that getting gold to be able to buy the gear or materials to be able to craft the gear is vitally important as a result. I also meant to check if there's anyone I wanted to recruit in here. So there's Wilt still. There's Dejero. So I kind of like Dejero. He was kind of my, what I was eyeballing is like my favorite of here because his volunteer wages are pretty decent. We also have a warrior here. So she's different than before. She got swapped. So Floret, or Flore, who's solitary. Deals damage, increases damage by 10% if not next to an ally in combat. So she is a warrior. And maybe at this point it's worth mentioning the base classes. So there's Archer, just like Jazz. And Jazz can become a Hunter, Beastmaster, or Infantryman. Then you have a Brute, like Shield. Well, Shield was a Brute, now is a Destroyer. So the Brutes can become Destroyers, Smashers, Vanguards. You've got Rangers, like Die. Rangers can become Cutthroats, Strategists, or Poisoners. Then you have Spearmen. We haven't found a Spearman just yet, but that's another base class. You've got swordsmen like Cathanon, and they can become protectors, which are like tanks, fighters, or sword masters. And then, last but not least, we have warriors. So Floret here is a warrior, and warriors can become berserkers, executioners, or sentinels. So we can either recruit no one, a warrior, or a brute. And the thinking behind this, for me to weigh in a little bit, is generally speaking, I'm going to be trying to keep my mercenary party alive. The advantage of adding new people is that we'd have more professions, which is really nice early on because I'm going to want someone to like cut wood, and I'm going to want someone to mine, and I'm going to want someone to pick locks and all that stuff. So we really want to be choosy about who we pick, but we probably should pick people pretty early on so that we can fill out the professions and gain all of the benefits from all the professions. So I'm going to have you guys choose between Flore and I don't know how to... Django Unchained here. And I didn't really look at their gear, but both of them have basically rags. They're not well equipped. Alright, overwhelmingly, you guys want the warrior. Got it. So, warrior, let's go ahead and recruit you. And that also means we're going to raffle her off.
Provided you pay me handsomely.
Handsomely, huh? Okay. Wow. You have Leia buns. That's a look. Sure. So for 30 influence and 60 gold, adding her to the party. I'm going to move her in front of Macho. Sorry, Macho. And then, for now, I'm going to have her keep blacksmith. But I'll probably have her change her work at some point. And she is level 1 with 0 XP. So she's going to be a little bit behind everyone else. But not by too much. Alright, before I leave town, I'd also like to see if there's any deals for any food.
You touch it, you buy it.
Yeah. Whatever.
Those refugees.
No deals on foods or deals...
Take a look at my wares.
So the Immortal Bloom is cheaper, but I'm not using that, so I'm going to move on. Thank you for tuning in to Wartales, which originally streamed live on Twitch July 27th as a marathon. If you have any questions for me, let me know in the comments below, but please keep in mind that I'm relatively new to the game, and this was also streamed once as a marathon, meaning feedback cannot be incorporated. If you would like to catch a live stream of mine, like this marathon, you can go to Rhadamant.com for my stream schedule and countdown timers to upcoming streams, as well as a link to Twitch. And if you would like to join my online gaming community as well, you can go to Rhadamant.com or a link in the description of this video to join Discord. Thank you so very much for watching. A special thank you to my Patreon patrons, Twitch subscribers, and those that turned out for the marathon, and also viewers like you that tuned in on YouTube and made it all the way to the credits. So thank you so very much. I hope to catch you in next episode or an upcoming stream of mine. Farewell, my fellow mercenaries.